You know, I can tell by one of the things you're pacing around and you're all upset about me. And, you know, quite frankly, Braun, you know, one of the things you have in there, I can tell by your nonverbal cues that I guess you're quite upset with me.
What the
Braun
fuck
Strowman
is happening here?
Is always upset.
Lime, duh. Yeah. Let's do it again, baby. Hello. Whoa. Woo. Woo.
There's a lot of beef out here.
Welcome to the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, the podcast where comedians dissect the wrestling to an unhealthy degree. I'm your host, the host with the most.
I'm going straight to hell. Enjoy the show.
Viral stand-up about professional wrestling, Dan Black, a.k.a. Dunsky Black Amora, a.k.a. Papa Oat Milk, the creatine dream, baby. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. C-R-A-E. I spelled it wrong. That's right. We don't do it over. A.K.A. the modern day goof and spoof. Raja. Coming at you like Cleopatra. Baby. Gubba, wee.
Gabba, wee.
Yeah, gubba, wee. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This girl, she's mine. And hum.
Yo, Dana's badass, man.
Down.
I should have known better, dude.
She's fine. What up, jabroniacs? We are back in action for your satisfaction with all our spicy, chef's kiss, muy caliente wrestling reactions. Well, we got a lot to talk about. Many would argue too much to talk about, but before we do, I just want to let you guys know that this podcast is independent, baby. We are grassroots. We produce this podcast ourselves. We do everything ourselves, create all the art ourselves, do all the editing, everything ourselves. Everything you see here, love, listen, lick, you freaks. All my freaks out there licking the podcast. Ooh, yeah. I went into Mach from Steiner to Mach. I can't control myself, folks. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Well, I don't have to because we're independent. But we got supported on patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. Get access to bonus episodes. We do AEW NXT / whatever we didn't cover on here episodes every Friday morning. And also we have monthly, the Cow Zoom Thunderdome, where little storm front coming over. The Cow Zoom Thunderdome, where we watch pay-per-views together on Zoom. It's a great time. We watched AEW Revolution on this past Sunday, and we'll be covering that a little bit today. That was a good time, but we'll be watching Fastlane March 21st at the $10 level on Patreon. You come hang out with us in Zoom, watch a pay-per-view. It is a great, great time. Now, as for our Patreon push, everybody, I know you're thinking about it, folks. We were doing our push to 20 patrons. And when we did that, we were getting brand new stickers, new Cow art, and the return of the Cow Movie Club, Season 3. We watched 10 movies with professional wrestlers in them and dissect them to an unhealthy degree. It's a great time. I'm going to start mailing out stickers to patrons now because we technically did hit that goal. The way Patreon works, it's like at the end of the month, some people's cards don't process, so then the numbers go down. It confuses it for me, but I believe we're like 1 or 2 away right now that we did hit it technically. So I'm going to start mailing those stickers out, and then when we hit it again, the art will drop, but expect the stickers. One thing I want to say, I know this is an annoying logistical thing to say on the pod, but don't worry because the content after this is going to be so spicy, baby. But make sure in the Patreon, if you didn't get one of the older stickers and you want them, I have a very limited supply of our 2 older stickers. And I'm going first come, first serve. There's a thread in there. Respond saying that you didn't receive the other stickers and you want them. If you got them, don't do it. For the new patrons, don't get them again. And then also, Make sure your address is in Patreon. That's how we mail it. Some of you guys don't have your address in there. If you don't have your address in there, then I can't mail it to you guys. Okay, bunch of logistics, but this is how we do it, folks. Okay. So yeah, expect the new sticker, which is Newman is sick. I'll get you a new sticker, Newman. You'll get a new sticker. Okay?
I have a sticker?
He's not here yet. No, the new sticker is fucking awesome.
I'll get a new sticker. I don't even have an old sticker.
I'll get you a sticker. What are you?
Maybe I don't want a sticker.
Yo, in the old cow studio, the stickers were laying all around. Remember? You could have picked one up off the fuck.
Oh, I thought you meant like I would get my own sticker. I have tons of stickers. I'm lousy with stickers.
Oh
cow
yeah,
stickers.
I mean the Newman sticker might be the next patron push.
All right,
you know,
we'll see.
We already have. Yeah, we have a design already for it, so that'll be the next. Well, you can see good. We're workshopping ideas here, but yeah, the new sticker. By the way, I use all the best artists for shit that I do. I call in favors from artists who have no business working on Cal. So anyway, support us on Patreon. By the way, the sticker goes out to any level, even the $2 a month level. Okay. Anyway, you get it. You guys get what's going on. A lot of things going on. Now, before we get into all things wrestling this week, interesting week in pro wrestling. Some good, some bad, some interesting, some weird. I would like to address cOwmania 3. Okay? Just a bit of business. For long-time listeners of the show, you know that every WrestleMania weekend, for the past 3 years, we plan a big live podcast / wrestling event. And the Cow title, the Comedians Wrestling title, cOwmania 1 in New York City for WrestleMania 35. I wrestled one of my good friends and my attorney, Adam Letterman, and sponsor of the podcast, and I got the title back. Last cOwmania was kind of a mess because of COVID, and this one as well. You know, I felt like having an event down in Tampa this year didn't feel like the responsible thing to do, you know, and I don't know. I still think we're in the responsible era, you know? Some of you call it, there's saying I had a lot of inaction and the title sat collecting dust. I say we were in a pandemic. That's what I say, okay? And I think the responsible thing to do was to put the title on the shelf, okay? And it wasn't like I wasn't training. You saw what I was doing. It wasn't like I was being lazy or like sitting on my laurels. It's not what I was doing. I'm always ready to go, okay? I'm from Long Island, not just Cardona. You know that, folks, okay? Now, okay, all that being said, cOwmania 3 this year I thought was an irresponsible thing to do. Jason Shebiro, the Cow heavyweight champion, and by the way, you can head over to our YouTube channel if you're like, who's Jason? What's like? How did he become the champion? I see there's a package put up there, which I'll address in a minute, being put on our YouTube channel. So go subscribe to the Comedians Wrestling YouTube channel. But cOwmania 3, look, Jason came on here last week, said that that cOwmania 3 was official. And so I kind of brushed him off a little last week, if you go back and listen. I was like, all right. Yeah, fine, I guess. And I didn't really know what to say, to be honest. And when I spent this whole past week on the phone with Hawaiian athletic officials and the COVID compliance office of Hawaii trying to get this event off the books, frankly. And it's not to say whatever. I don't have to explain myself there, really, right? I mean, I don't think it's a responsible thing to do. I don't think that we can't all go like as a community and go celebrate it. This is happening in some desolate island that's very hard to get to, and it's not even involving, you know, like last year Hassan was the number one contender. He was one of the listeners. You know what I mean? Like, this is a community. You can't just commandeer cOwmania. It felt personal to me, and a lot of you messaged me. You felt the same way. So here's the truth, okay? And I know you'll notice that Tulo is not on the podcast, and he and I were arguing about this before we got on the air. And frankly, he was acting like a little kid, if you want my opinion. Is that cOwmania 3 is on. Okay, I was calling Hawaii Athletic State Commissioner office, Glenn Stefani's office. I could barely get through there. I'm speaking to his secretary. The guy feels like he's dodging me, or he's like in the pocket of shit. I don't even know what's going on with him, to be frank. But the response that I got, and also the event is COVID compliant, because if you're on the island, their COVID rates are extremely low there, and so the events are allowed to happen. And essentially, essentially the answer I got is that I was bringing the argument that this is an event that we have patented, that we have a trademark for, cOwmania. And the answer I got is that because it's Sheb's trade, essentially threw money to trademark it as cOwmania 3, right? Like his event is called cOwmania 3, okay? Just when he comes on here, pretends he's a good guy. As opposed to being the third cOwmania, like a cOwmania with a 3 on the end, which is what we would have done. His is cOwmania 3. And this is the loophole that they're going, and there's nothing I could do about it. And so, Phil, I wanted to address, because, Phil, we haven't really, Phil, the producer, Phil Pesapani, we haven't really talked about it, but I see you posted a package in the YouTube channel kind of promoting Sheb's rise to, I guess, championship power, and I want to say I'm not upset by that. I just want to let you know. I understand like some forces, this force majeure, like it's not you. This is something.
I mean, I'm just doing my job. You know what I mean? If it ends up in the Dropbox, I just do it. You know?
Yeah, and I think the cow title is bigger than just me.
Yeah,
and frankly, bigger than
us,
just
right.
us. Really, like it's a fucking title, like, and the briefcase is a real thing, and the paperwork went through. Is this like an elitist, privileged way to go about this whole thing? Absolutely. But is it legitimate? Yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell Tulo. He's like, why are we even posting these packages? Why do we even let him on the podcast? I'm like, Tulo, you're a little kid. Like, some things shit will be made right by doing things right, you know? So I don't know, you know, whatever. I'm spending a lot of time here on the pod today, but yeah. So anyway, we got to talk about pro wrestling. I want to, you know, Phil, I understand you got to do your thing, and cOwmania 3 is happening. So I guess Shebs is going to be wrestling some a Hawaiian native WrestleMania weekend. All right. Anyway, let's move on with the podcast. I'm just gonna ring the bell over here, and let's talk about pro wrestling. Right, we got a lot to cover about. We're in the almighty era. We had a cage match this week. We had maybe the botch of the century this week. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. I'm gonna ring this bell. All right, now, I want to start with AEW. Okay. And let's just start there. Now, I posted an episode of the podcast on Monday, right? And I posted, it was just me by myself, a short mini episode. You check it out. It's called like About Last Night or something. And it's me just giving my view on the AEW botch situation. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you do. Which is the ending of the death match at the end of Revolution. We were watching the Thunderdome. Which, by the way,
what flavor?
Lime, duh. Just a side note, my lime LaCroix delivery guy, I got like a water deliveries, you know, and
you have a guy that delivers you. He delivers you specifically lime LaCroix. You got a lime LaCroix delivery guy.
Yeah. And so, Newman, I got to introduce you, by the way. He's here. It's because you always no-selling me, bro. I mean, this is why. He's a nasty boy. Nasty Newman Hagen in the house.
How about it?
Yo, so, okay. He delivers me water, and then the LaCroix comes like once every 4 weeks. And he's like, I just didn't have it this week. They didn't have it this week. I'm like, who's they? Isn't they you? Aren't you the beverage supplier? So now my deal with them is that I get it for full price if they happen to have it. That's the deal we have. What kind of deal is this? Isn't that insane?
Yeah. You're like, who's they? And he was like, look, stop asking questions. You have no idea how high this goes.
like what are you talking about? It's a beverage delivery service where it's literally 1 out of 4 times I will get one of the products I want.
Yeah.
And it's not wholesale or anything.
I love it. I'm going to start a company called like If We Have It. And you can order whatever you want and maybe we'll deliver it if we have it.
And like, if you notice I haven't been drinking LaCroix on the pod the past couple of weeks, it's because I don't know if I'm getting it. And like, I called the company also, and they were like, "Yeah, those are subject to like availability." Like, well, then why are they on this? Like, what are you talking about? Like then say it's sold out this week or something. It's not like
right.
So I've had times where I get it from the grocery store, and then I do get it that week, and I'm doubled up. You know. Anyway. I know we're talking about beverages, but I just think it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, I mean, speaking of pop and fizzle,
folks. Let's actually. I actually have. Actually, I don't have it. I don't have it. But so AEW, look. Mm-hmm. I gave a spiel. I won't repeat the whole thing. Go back and listen right now if you want to, and then come back to this episode about how I felt. I posted it on Monday. Which was that like I really believe in the concept of like mental errors versus physical errors, right? Where you're like, listen, this was a botch, but like this is my kind of botch, you know? Like this is the botch that's like, yeah, the pyro didn't go off, but the writing was great. The idea was ambitious. It was like a live theater at its finest. The idea was you were way ahead of it. And so, and we're going to talk about some physical errors this week, so I can give you examples of what I mean, where it just doesn't bother me. Like, as a live theater guy, Newman knows also, as a live theater guy, I'm just like 0% bothered by, like, the prop didn't go right. And as a matter of fact, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I said this on the other episode. I preferably, the whole place would have blown up, right? Like, I'm not saying I prefer it this way. But there is a beauty to AEW that's like, all right, you have WWE where like they go over moves with video producers and they're like, oh, here's how the Daniel Bryan running knee is shot. You know, like they know exactly what they're doing. Like, and that's gorgeous. I live for it. You know what I mean? I get that feeling of life. I get zest. You know what I mean? And I can't get zest nowadays. You know what I mean? My zest is subject to availability. You guys know this, man. But like I'm saying, I go, oh, that's unbelievable. I love that about WWE. But there's something cool about AEW being the counter product where like Moxley comes out and he can't open the flask. You know what I mean? Like there's something to me that's like, you had an idea, I'm going to grab a flask. And it's like, it's kind of like shoddy in a way that I fucking appreciate, you know?
Yeah.
I think that, you know.
I would have loosened it up a little bit before I left. Just make sure.
Yes. That's a problem. The problem is that these guys are like, these guys should be a little bit more like pro about it, but they also were planning a barbed wire exploding death match where apparently there's also like a like Die Hard, well not Die Hard, what is it, like Mission Impossible style countdown where the whole place is gonna explode, like whatever. Like, you know, they're planning a lot. I think probably the last thing on his mind is the flask thing. It's on your list to do, but it's low on the priority list, you know? In Maslow's hierarchy of exploding barbed wire mattress needs, it was low. You know what I mean? It was low, and so that's what Maslow did, right? So like, all right, like so. The show that I worked on all of 2019 and a bunch of 2020, for the long listeners know when I was recording this podcast at like 4 a.m. on the road. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I kept this pod going while I was shooting. Like, I know what I was thinking. It's because I love doing this podcast and I also feel a responsibility to you, the listeners, to like deliver for you. But we were shooting a reality show and it's called The Wedding Coach. Comes out April 7th. And on Netflix. You can see on my Instagram, I posted the trailer at Dan Black Attack. And so, like, some of the best moments we got were products of spontaneity, you know? And it's so cool to do when you're making TV, you know? Because the show is extremely real. And it reminds me of stuff we would do in UCB Basement, where it'd just be like, you'd have just an incredible moment on stage. I can't explain to you guys, like, and that's probably what I love about wrestling so much also, is like the times where you go out to do improv, like long form improv, which is essentially a dead medium now. Maybe it might have some life into it, but I don't think it'll come back proper. But maybe I just sound old. I'm open to that. It's not conducive to our day and age in kind of a way, because people have to be very calculated with how they speak now, and that's something that's more in the moment. Like, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of factors against it, if that makes sense. I'm not being like, yeah, man, like shit's too PC, it can't be funny. I mean, two people ending each other ideas, and one person brings up an idea that you have to say yes to, that's kind of a road you don't want to go down, and then you start saying no to each other because you don't want to go down that road. Like, it can get a little hairy, right? And we all don't really know where all these lines are. So I think, does that make sense, Newman?
Yes.
You think? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's as big of a deal as I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Right.
I think that you can still do it and should still do it, and yes, and whatever, and have these weird, edgy ideas. And if someone walks out of the theater, they walk out of the theater, and that's it. And it's,
Right. But do people on stage have the courage to know that? You know what I mean? Anyway, look, now we're becoming an improv podcast. It's a whole other thing. Yeah. I don't. A certain
generation, I think, of improvisers do have the courage to do that, but the current generation, I don't think so.
Like the swings of pro wrestling and long form improv is why I always compare them, and why is like there's times where you just go through that curtain with no script and you walk off like, wow, we just made like the fucking funniest, smartest, one time only event that you had to see, and like, oh my God, I am buzzing, I am reeling from that, and essentially, like, I think in wrestling, it's cool that AEW feels like a place that might be able to capture some of that, because WWE is really not that, honestly. It's more close to SNL, which is another great show. I'm not like sitting here shitting on SNL. Like, I've seen some of it and some of it's not been bad, but SNL has some real high highs as a beautifully produced show with rules on how it operates and the kind of parameters they operate in, and you know what I mean? It's an NBC show. So I guess what I'm saying is that I all of it is to say is that there's something beautiful about that finish to me. And that's just from my personal experience. And I don't think, and I believe this to be true, that people don't remember. I think that people are saying like the only thing people are going to remember is that botch. I don't think that's true. I think Kenny and Moxley both earned more respect that night for that match going forward. And the Eddie Kingston, everyone agreed the Eddie Kingston story was undeniably good. Like that, and it made Eddie Kingston a bigger deal in the flash of a second, you know? And so I think there's a lot of really nice fallout there. I don't get why Kenny doesn't have a stylist. That I'll never get. I'll never get why did he let Kenny dress himself? I don't get that, but his jeans were so bad in that match, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, what? Oh, fuck. My phone's ringing. Oh, my. Hold on. Oh, man. Hello?
Oh, my God. Is this the podcast of which I am the champion?
All right. Yeah, Jason Shebiro, Cow Champion on the line, calling me up. Yeah,
guys,
I guess that while we're recording, I have to pick up your phone call.
You got to pick it up. You guys got to hear what's going on out here. It's fucking incredible. King of Iron Fist Hawaii is in full effect. Is everyone there? Is Newman there? Is Aaron there?
No, Newman's here. Just being Newman today. Too low. Whatever. It doesn't. What's
oh my
God,
guy! Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm at a fight right now. A dude just got his fucking teeth knocked down his throat.
What?
These people are out of control out here. These guys are monsters, bro.
Wait,
monsters.
So wait, the king, wait.
Oh
my
shit! Oh my God, bro! I don't want to fight any of these dudes. This is gonna be a nightmare for me. This is ridiculous.
Wait, you're at what the fuck just happened? Wait, this tournament started? Yeah. Why don't you fill us in on the tournament?
Oh my God!
Post brackets or something.
Dude,
so
look.
How, if this is going to be real, because cOwmania 3 is confirmed happening. You didn't hear me. I said that. Whatever. It's happening. And you're going to wrestle someone. Yeah.
I already knew it was happening, pal. I already knew it was happening. I'm the one that. Here's the deal. I hooked up with my bra, Sal Eliazo. He's the fucking hand of the king out here. This guy's hooked it all up. Yeah. He's so connected here in Hawaii. So he was able to put together all these matches, every fucking inch of this island. We got the baddest motherfuckers you could ever find. And we are rolling, baby. The brackets have begun. People are scrapping fucking wherever. Like, we just get a guy in there, we sanction it, boom. Gil, Glenn Stefani put the stamp of approval. I got guys fighting in gas stations. I got guys fighting in parking lots. I got guys fighting. I got girls. There's broads in this tournament also. We don't give a fuck.
We don't say, well, dude, broads, relax, bro.
I'm just saying, people are scrapping. It's already begun. They're throwing down.
So why don't we see it? Can you get us some, like, if this tournament's happening for the cow title, can we see some fucking footage or something?
I mean, look, I don't have what you have. I don't have the full camera crew set up yet out here, but I'm gonna look. I'll go. I'll record for some matches if you want. I'll go and because I'm going to most of these things. It's awesome. Me or Sal, one of us is always there just checking it out. I'll do some iPhone shit. I'll show you what's up. I'll show you what's going on with King of Iron Fist. But here's the deal. This is more action-packed than anything you've done in Cal ever. This is like whatever Shane wanted Raw Underground. Whatever Raw Underground was supposed to be, that's what King of Iron Fist Hawaii is actually doing. And I'm telling you, cOwmania 3, whoever wins this tournament and winds up being my opponent at cOwmania 3, I'm going to have my hands full. But I'm loving it, man. I'm in the gym fucking 2 times a day. I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Okay, first off, what's with the Hawaii, bro? You're from Long Island, New York.
Hawaii, you got it. Look, this is my homeland. I'm the adopted hometown hero of this place now. I'm like the state bird out here. These people, they love me. I'm telling you. You know me. I go places. I make friends fast. You guys don't seem to like me so much because of, I guess, my attitude problem. But when you don't know me super well, you know, I'm a pretty exciting guy. I'm a fast talking guy. I'm funny. I'm handsome. I got
so what? I mean, can we see some brackets for this tournament? Can we see like any? I mean, like what the fuck's going on with it?
I'll let you make the brackets. I'm just gonna dump the footage. I don't have time for fucking bullshit. I don't care what you guys know and don't know. All you need to know is we're finding the guy or girl. The people are scrapping, and the last man standing gets a shot at the king, gets a shot at the champ at cOwmania 3. I'm not going to sit there with a pen and a pencil with a fucking, slide rule and a protractor. But what I will tell you is that teeth are getting knocked out of faces. People are getting put in hospitals, and it is absolute pandemonium out here in Hawaii. Right. And I'm loving it, bro.
All right. So this is what you called in to just tell what's going on now. What the fuck are we? All right. Anyway. All right. We got
what's going on right now? Fucking movers and shakers are moving and shaking. A guy just got carted out of here. I mean, it's fucking awesome. But I'm done for the day. I'm going to go get a sandwich or some shit and then get back to the gym and train. But boy, oh boy, is there action in these streets, my man.
All right. Okay. All right. Anything else? Do you want to? I mean, I can't kick you out of here because it's the pod.
No, I mean, look, I got to roll. I wish I could hang out all day and talk. I mean, look, the AEW card was phenomenal, man. The fireworks, the bomb, very, very impressive, very cinematic. No, look, it was a great card. I wish I could talk here and talk to you about how great the card was, but I got to give credit to Sting and Darby. I got to give credit to Eddie Kingston for shielding Jeans Ambrose from a devastating blow, and it was a great card overall.
Okay, all right. Anyway, all right. So let's see some of this fucking tournament already.
Yeah, you know what? That's great. Why don't I start taking my orders from you? Oh, wait, you're not a fucking champion, and I am. Yeah, so when I'm ready, I'll unload some footage. You don't understand.
Dude, don't talk to me like that, man. I'm respecting that. I'm respecting that you're. No, but I'm saying, dude, I'm respecting that you're the champion. I'm respecting that you're the champion, and I'm saying that if you want to have this tournament, I'm trying to get it out through the proper channels. Don't act like I'm giving you fucking orders. I'm giving you the privilege of putting your tournament that you sanctioned on here. I'm acknowledging that it's sanctioned.
I gotta go. This has been cute. I can't wait to see you one day and stick my foot directly in your ass.
You're fucking dick.
Bye.
All right, just get out of here. All right. Well, I gotta take a fucking shower after this guy calls.
Right.
Anyway, I would dump this LaCroix on my head, but I don't want to mess up the equipment on the.
Yeah, and you don't know when you're gonna get another one.
Yeah, I mean that guy. We're gonna see that guy like.
Is it shady? Sure, it's shady. Yeah, of course it's shady.
All right. Anyway, so about the Cowzoom Thunderdome. The beauty of being a patron of this podcast, we were all hanging out in a Zoom watching this together. I have the audio of essentially the moment where the pyro went wrong, which is you can hear us. You can hear all of us gearing up for this amazing moment that just doesn't fucking happen. So this is all the patrons hanging out.
Oh, I love those
Oh
sparklers.
my god, this is so good.
This is
What?
amazing.
Yep. Oh my god, that explosion! Oh my god, it was crazy!
Look at this
Oh
explosion,
wow!
you guys.
Oh,
That was the
it.
explosion.
What?
That was it?
All right, that was the
Cody
most
gets more
limpy
fireworks
shit
for
I've
his
ever seen.
gender reveal than
Yeah,
the explosion.
That?
Are you kidding me? You don't
Nobody
fuck
gets
that
more
up.
pyro than that.
I'm
Are
sorry.
you
this,
fucking kidding me?
No, that
this-
was it?
I'm sorry.
Let's
The
hear
ring,
from
my
the Mark
God.
himself, Tony.
I don't
want
want to hear they did that shit on purpose. I don't want to hear that.
the ring is like.
I think it didn't
Unless
go
it
off.
explodes again,
No,
I
they-
don't want to hear that.
They
Maybe
did
it
it on
didn't go
purpose,
off.
and it's bad. That was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
it was
emotional.
It was a big FU to Vince.
Wait, who are the NJPW? That was horrible.
Yeah,
The ring's like, oh, I'm sorry, this never happens.
I mean, we were having a blast. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, like, this is so fucking good. Kenny just running away with the countdown. And the countdown graphic was perfect. You know, it was that, like, explode, like, that fucking evil comic book, like, countdown, you know?
Yeah. Alarm clock.
Then, man, it didn't go off. I mean, it was crazy, man.
I mean, I'll tell you, I would be 100% okay with them going back and editing it to look like it exploded.
Has Tony Khan made like a proper statement about like what was supposed to happen?
I don't think so. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Because he's smart. He's gonna work into kayfabe like tonight, you know. And Kenny's gonna. We know what's gonna happen. Kenny's gonna be like, "You think I'm gonna explode, people?" You know what I mean? He's gonna be like, "You think I'm a murderer? What do you think about me?" That's kind of my Kenny. Yeah, really. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, but yeah, so that was hanging out in the Thunderdome. We'll see. Like, what can even happen at Fastlane that would even be like a fun fuck up like that? Like, compared to the Reigns got his arm stuck in the handcuff.
Yeah.
That one wasn't fun like this. Because it wasn't that big. It was kind of like it wasn't a risk. The thing about this botch is that this botch came from a huge theatric risk they decided to take. You know?
Right.
Like, and the risk reward was huge. That was just like, oh, he put the handcuff on wrong. You know?
Right. I don't think the WWE does. There's no opportunity for some sort of fun, hilarious botch in WWE because there's no room. There's not, that risk isn't there. It's all so calculated and produced, and
the Thunderdome's edited now too, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it has to be, right? They're the biggest wrestling company in the world, and are the big, like, their production levels are so high that it's just never going to happen because they'll never allow. They probably would make that risk assessment and be like, no, we're not going to do that.
Right. Now let's jump over to something else that sucked this week, and let's talk about this Shane McMahon on Raw moment. I mean, Jesus. I have the audio from it. Let's listen a little bit to it,
Okay.
Because I found when I was writing notes on it, it's hard to describe. You know, you just kind of have to hear it. So this is unedited. We'll listen to it. We'll see how long we get through it.
Whoa.
You got something to say to me, Shane?
Hey, hold on one second. One thing I do want to.
He's so sweaty.
Whoa. You got something to say to me, Shane?
Hey, hold on one sec. I guess I should say it.
I'll jump a little bit.
Face to face. Well, so Braun, I can see you've been out here, you know, and you've been talking about the events that have transpired, and that has caused me to do a little, self-introspection, if you will. And, what have I been doing? Did I have fun last week? Well, absolutely I did. I mean, that's what I do, Braun. I have fun. I relax a little bit. It's all in good fun here. But that's what I do in life. I have fun. You should too. You know, do I have fun sometimes at others' expenses? Yeah, I totally do. No problem. I have fun at others' expense. But that's okay. You know, it's okay in my book as long as it benefits me. You know, and I'm not the only one who thinks like that. No, there's many other people that do as well. I can tell that you're not one of them, though. You know, it's okay, Braun. Just relax a little bit. One thing I need to get done is I need to
Just
come
listen to
to
the
an understanding
breath
with
in
you.
between his words.
One thing, Braun.
I mean, this is TV time.
What is he?
Stupid out here. Something you want to come out here? What, are you trying to make me look stupid, Shane?
Braun, one of the things I would never, ever.
So I think right there, Braun is reminding him that the next line is like, he's telling him what the game of the scene is. He's like, yo, the game is like, you're just calling me stupid. It's not good. That's why you don't remember what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's like, are you trying to call me stupid or something?
Pro improv move by Braun to be like, to gift him that thing. Like, you're calling me stupid right now.
Yeah, bro. Braun is actually really good in this segment.
Yeah.
He's working. Braun is really good. We know that. Like, he's pretty fucking good. Like, you remember how over Braun was. Don't write him off. He'll loop back around. But Braun Strowman was really working with nothing here and did a really nice job, I thought. Actually, that was one of the highlights for me. Is I was like, Braun really kept it together, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do is come out here and make you look stupid. No, Braun. Never. I would never, ever do that. Matter of fact, stupid I find is an abhorrent word. Terrible word. You know, I can tell by one of the things you're pacing around and you're all upset about me. And, you know, quite frankly, Braun, you know, one of the things you have in there, I can tell by your nonverbal cues that I guess you're quite upset with me.
What the
Braun
fuck
Strowman
is happening here?
Is always upset.
Yeah. And also, like, why, if he's not saying something that's captivating him, but he's insulting you, why wouldn't Braun just attack him? That was the other thing about it, where you're like, this, no one would ever stand for this because it's like, would you let the, like, it's like, you let somebody just sit there insulting you when you can either just walk away or like fight or flight, and you just choose neither. You know what I mean? Like, if you're having a conversation, you're engaging, you're insulting each other, that's one thing. But there's no engagement, you know? So it's like,
you know?
Keep playing games with me, Shane.
Not playing
games when you're trying to puppet me around like I'm one of your little pets.
Again, going back, Braun, never ever want to make you feel stupid. I would never ever say those words to you. Those are disgusting and cruel and abhorrent words. Abhorrent words. And again, never would I make you feel like that.
wow, this is more entertaining than I remember it.
So, Braun, there are a few others that, you know, you may say or may have heard specifically in your life, you know, such as,
this is gonna hurt.
Well,
It's gonna hurt.
stupid is a stupid does.
What is
Or
happening?
you fell out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. Or just quite simply, this guy is so stupid. And that dovetails maybe into a little bit of a stereotype of, you know, big man, little brain. You know, kind of like the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, famously big men.
But Braun, hear me out on one thing. Again, I have never, would I ever specifically call you stupid.
The Does-tail.
Does-tails? And then what was the other one he said? Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. So, okay.
What is happening?
I don't know where to even begin on this, you know?
Is he okay? Is
like,
Shane McMahon
that's my
okay?
problem. My problem here is that, like, my problem with this is that I'm worried about his health, you know?
It sounded like he was fighting a heart attack off.
What is he doing? Why does he need to wrestle Braun Strowman at WrestleMania if you're, like, either not into it or you're, like, right? Like, I can't understand what's happening here. Do you not want to do it? Are you? But he might be, I don't know. He might not be okay, to be honest. That was not
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't want to make fun of him before I find out what's going on here because it was so off. But here's what we can talk about. We can talk about mental errors versus physical errors. And okay, now let's say the mental error here is Shane forgot his script. He blanked. He, I don't know, is having a panic attack mid-show, or maybe he shit his pants. There's a good chance
Do you think he's
shit his
juicing?
pants.
I mean, yes.
I mean, I know he's juicing.
At least.
Like it's just like a new
100%
thing for him
juicing.
right now, you know?
Do you see how big his neck is? If you look at Shane, it's so weird that him and the McMahons never take their shirts off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always odd because if you
unless it's to be on the front
insane.
of Men's Fitness,
right,
with a chain around your neck,
perfect
then
lighting,
shirt
right?
off.
Yeah. That's a great Vince shot. I crank to that all the time, folks. But hey, now Macarena, shame. But so like, Shane is jacked up, man. You look at him; he's so HGH like to the gills, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's like 50 years old at this point, and he looks pretty fucking awesome. If you look at like, it's just he's so vascular, But whatever, like he's not in the right headspace to be out there. That's not someone who's like out there looking to make his talent look awesome. Like, because that's his job there, is to make Braun look great. Braun looks awesome. The guy's in his fucking prime. You can't, don't go out there and make him look like a fucking idiot, Now, I hope it's because he shit his pants or he has some other mental health issue.
There's something there, though. It was like, it's one of those things where it's like, no judgment, no value judgment in this statement, but something other than Shane was at play there. Be it a substance, be it a mental breakdown, be it a heart attack or something was happening to Shane in that moment.
Yeah, right. And that's why, we're not being a bunch of, softy liberals, being like, I don't want to make that shit, but honestly, listen, I've had bad fucking days, man. I've had times I go on stage to do full shows, and it's one of the hardest things I think about being a performer is, I can't believe performers don't cancel shows more often. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's because there's so many, you have a lot of people who rely on you, and but I've had shows I guess I got to go on, and I'm having I've had I've had episodes or whatever where I'm I still am performing the whole time because I don't want to feel like make me feel worse to put my career on hold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you're but I'm not in a great place right now. I'm feeling depressed or whatever, and so I do empathize with that. I mean, it's crazy. I remember when it happened yesterday when I don't know, we're jumping to conclusions here, but the Craig, when Craig Ferguson did that thing about Britney Spears,
Mm-hmm.
and he did that probably 10 years ago, and then now people are now empathizing finally with her mental health issues, So look, he was I'm not gonna, if you know what I'm talking about. He came on and did a monologue. I remember when it happened. My parents were big Craig Ferguson fans, and he came on and was he was a huge alcoholic, Craig Ferguson, for years, and had to go to AA, everything, and he was I've been there. I'm not gonna make fun of Britney Spears. I know that's what every late night host is doing, but I'm not gonna do that because I understand where she's at. That's where she's deep in the hole of that. And I don't know if that's what's going on with Shane, but I'd like some clarity because this segment was such a botch, and we've seen his decline for a while now, and it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse, and I don't know what's going on there, So instead of just being the kind of the lazy podcast, being that Shane segment sucked, Shane sucked. Yeah, I mean, I do feel that way. I think Shane should not be in there because forget about even the botch of the promo. The Shane role is undefined. So let's talk about physical versus mental errors, okay? So the mental errors, he might have an issue, and that I don't blame him for. I don't blame anybody for forgetting their lines on live television. I don't blame any of that. That is part of the cost of doing awesome business as far as I'm concerned, Mm-hmm. You're not doing anything awesome unless somebody could botch a line. So I guess that's not true, but it's something I love personally. All right. But let's talk about the physical errors. The writing of this feud is, I think is that Shane is a rich guy who is also an executive of the company who last week said that he went to like a leadership conference or something. He mentioned like I went to like a conference or something, right? And you're like, wait, what? Is that what you do? What do you do in this job? I know you're Vince's son, but what is your role within this organization? We have no idea anymore. You've been gone for a while. So you toying with Braun coming in, there seems to be kind of no consequence. He can come in, do whatever. Oh, all right. So that's kind of a cool role. Is that like he's Vince's son who is superseding what's his name? The guy who's the commissioner guy.
Adam Pearce.
Who's superseding Adam Pearce for his own personal pleasure, right? Like, that's fine, but that's not that clear that that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? But what this promo was I'm doing this because I like to have fun and I think you're stupid. That is awful, boring, lazy writing. This feud is lazy. It is not. And so I'll take the botch of Eddie Kingston with perfect writing and the pyro didn't go off over this where you're like, the writing was bad. And even if Shane nailed it, it would have sucked because you're not even trying, you know? So that's where, that's where I think more of the focus should be is on like, why is this story so poorly written when you have Braun, who seems so easy to write stories for? And Shane, to be honest. And what's going on with Shane? If he doesn't want to be there, then don't give him 20-minute promos on live TV, you know?
I mean, it was probably a 5-minute promo, but
20-minute promos.
But his execution was a 20-minute promo.
God, was that fucking terrible. That's like a train wreck.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, what happens at the end? I think at the end of this promo, it's like
Strowman chases him out.
Strowman chases him, the car drives off, and Shane wasn't in the car. Like, this acting, the gimmick Shane is doing, when you think about it, is psychopathic CEO, I think, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I
mean, that's too much credit.
Right. But I'm saying if I had to do any work on it, okay? So it's like he's right now pulling like kind of like a Wall Street asshole kind of a thing where he's like, yo, this guy's such a dumbass. I hate this guy. I'm just going to fuck around with him because he's so stupid. So he's punching down. None of that's coming through.
No.
Right?
No. Because even if you take the promo, if you like just take the lines and it would be, what was I doing last week? I was having fun. I like to have fun. And sometimes I have fun at other people's expense. And I would never call you stupid, but other people have probably called you stupid. And so I'm kind of saying you're stupid. Even if you just take the promo without it getting fucked up, it still doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Right. There's nothing else to say about it. It's like it was, and then that much, like I also kind of, to be honest, was like, I was like, I kind of liked the quiet moment in a weird way. Like Shane, when he kind of just stood there with something, and I was like, oh well, he's just taking his time to think about what it is, and in that moment, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I kind of liked that in a weird way, where I was like, oh, this is a smart way to take this as opposed to blabbering. Just center yourself and own the silence. And then he lost control of that really fast, Yeah. Anyway,
I can't help but think about like, what if it were Cena instead of Strowman? Cena would have said something, I think, in the moment and been like, are you okay? Like, do you need some time to get yourself together? Like, the John Cena ironic detachment would have come out. And even like The Rock or somebody,
Right. Oh my God. Anyway, let's move on to some cool shit. Okay. Just to be like,
yeah.
God, actually. Okay. Let's move on to SmackDown for a second. I have a couple things, but because this kind of ties in. But Daniel Bryan, he cut a promo to open up SmackDown this week, right?
Yeah.
Another like interesting thing where it was like Shane was like, oh, I took this like leadership course last week or something. And then this week, Daniel Bryan was like, WWE made us take personality tests. Right? And he was like, and they told me that I got the lowest ambition score of anybody, you know, and you're of any of the one on the roster.
I feel that.
And I'm sitting there, it's like, what? Wait, what? What the fuck are we talking about? Like, WWE's giving their roster personality tests?
I mean, half of them need personality tests because guess what? They came back negative. No personality.
Yeah, like I took a step back to think about it. I was like, does that make sense? Like, I guess when I've been on big corporate jobs before, they've had us do I've went to like full like leadership, like trust fall. I've literally done trust falls with business teams before.
They're garbage and fake.
I mean,
the only reason companies
I've done a trust fall before. Like
the only reason companies do that is so that they can assign you a sort of like made up role, or what's the word, like persona, and then they can hire or fire that persona, not you, right? So it's like, oh, you have these qualities. This is who you are as an employee. And now all of our criticism is going to be at this made up character that we've developed from this bullshit test that we made you take. It's more corporate chicanery.
Right.
But I digress.
Yeah, I mean, we could dive into that, but like, would you think a pro wrestler would take a person out? I guess because they're like, whatever.
No.
Anyway, it's just, listen, I don't think it's like necessarily bad. To be honest, I like it because it's just specific. Like, I just think it's always like the corporate elements of WWE are so like undefined when you watch the show, and they're so like, they're like inconsistent in a way where they're kind of like people's complaint about force powers, where they're like, oh, like, it's kind of unclear what they like. Oh, now we jump like that? Okay, fine, right? Like, but they're more, you know, like, we're like, all right, well, what exactly goes on there? Like, who's running this show? Like, it's always a little bit. But anyway, I did dig it, but like, Daniel Bryan's not ambitious, and it was just like, I don't know, that writing was so sloppy to me. Like, do you believe Daniel Bryan to be not ambitious? Like, would you think that a personality test would be like, you're not ambitious? I don't even know what, like. The guy came up on the indies, wrestling. I don't know. Who cares, I guess. I guess who cares? I'm fine with it. It was just so, like, weird. But then he's like, oh, and then I worked my way up. It's like, I think there's this thing. Daniel Bryan gets, like, 15 minutes to open SmackDown. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan, you know. He's one of my guys, Daniel Bryan. I know he's not one of your guys, you know?
Right.
But he gets like 15 minutes to kind of like fumble through a promo to like find something. You know what I mean? And you're like, the other guys don't get this much mic time to like find it. Like, he does like 3 minutes of good, but gets like 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. And then he's like, yeah, and it said I wasn't ambitious. And then he's always working on the yes movement angle again, where it's like, oh, I came back. And it's like, oh, but he's like, I don't know. I kind of was into it, but this is the thing. Reigns came out, and Reigns, I'm loving all this writing for Roman Reigns, where he came out and said, I don't love this business. How often do you see a wrestler say that? The only person who says that is Brock in shoot interviews.
Right.
But Reigns came out and he's like, yo, I don't love this business. I'm in this business because I do it because everybody needs me. This camera guy, all of your jobs depend on me. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking good.
Wonderful.
Everything that Reigns is doing is very good right now. I have one gripe with Reigns, which is I think the T-shirt look of just like rocking the T-shirt, it's below. It doesn't match the gimmick. The gimmick is bigger than the look, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what would I put Reigns in?
Suit.
I don't know. Is he a suit guy, you think?
I mean, there's a style of suit that I think would work, but yeah, something other than a T-shirt, or like even if it's like a wife beater and like a gold chain or something, like something.
I was thinking he could have like a more like prize fighter tracksuit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it looks like, but something that's more like I got a big fight coming up.
Athleisure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he rocks athleisure, but I kind of wanted to take it to that place where it's like, you know, whatever you see fucking McGregor in when he's like not in a suit, but when McGregor is like walking to train.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? but I know he's selling merch, so it's okay. But the shirt's not good. His shirt is just very generic. The shirt he wears.
It's one of his merch shirts, right?
Yeah, it just says like head of the table. I mean,
yeah,
it's okay because he's trying to sell it. But I want to feel more when you see Reigns. Like he looks a little too much like a guy. You know, does that make any sense? Like a guy, where I want him to look more like the guy. You know, and I think he could finesse that a little bit. But yeah, I like the writing on that thing. On that, but Daniel Bryan obviously a holdover. The cage match was a good time, and you know, I like the whole Daniel Bryan. Just, you know, the whole fast lane. I don't know. It's like this fast lane is just kind of in the way. I just want to see Roman and Edge. I just want to see Roman Edge. That's what it is. Daniel Bryan's kind of a nuisance here. Anyway. One last thing about the cage match I'll say is I like Corey Graves explaining the cage match on SmackDown. He like walked to the ring just being like, we like that. I love that shit. Like sell the event, you know, because if you just go wrestling into wrestling and wrestling, like sell it. Like they put a cameraman perched up on the corner being like, look, we just want to show you exactly how high up this thing is. Like I love selling the fight. I think that's really cool. I would like more of that stuff, more presentational shit. I dig it. I don't need Messiah Seth anymore personally. I think that I like what he's doing. He's doing a nice job. It is good work, and I appreciate the risk and whatever. But like, God, I kind of just want Seth Rollins to be Seth Rollins, which kind of contradicts other shit I've said. But like every time I see him and he's doing the Messiah thing, I feel a little disappointed. I'm like, I just want to see Seth Rollins, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Messiah thing had its place, right?
It was good when it did, but it was old. It kind of felt like it was for that whole, but like Murphy thing, and now it's like Murphy and him are like, they're like kind of going into it again, you know? And you're like, oh, we're gonna go into another Mania with Messiah Seth. It's just like, it's I don't know. I just don't need it. You know, I just don't need it. But I don't know if someone likes it, they like it. Almighty Bobby Lashley. Actually, I want to jump over to the women's division quickly. I've been neglecting the women today. But Peyton Royce cut a cool promo on Raw Talk. I don't know if you saw.
I did not see it.
So she cut a promo that was just like, I mean, obviously it was a work. Obviously it was a work in the sense that, you know, like there's a shoot and work element of it, but like I felt shooty. It felt work shoot, like where she was like, it's really painful. The fact that like I know I'm in the right place. I moved all the way across the world to get here, and I am here, and I can't even get a shot to show you that I am the best. Like, you know what I mean? And she's like, I am in my, you know, she was like, I'm better than 98% of the other women wrestlers, essentially. And she's like, and the other two, I don't even get a shot at, you know, I don't even get to touch them. Right. It was pretty nice. She's very good on the promo. The only risk with a promo like this, and there is like, is she in a place where you could make her big time? Like, could you see Peyton beating like a Charlotte? That's the problem with the Charlotte. It's like then Peyton Royce's mom put a thing out that was like, Charlotte, like give somebody else a chance. This is a problem. Like Charlotte's on another level. It's just kind of like, so what are we going to? It's like she's the Brock of the women's division.
It's like oh, Eric Clapton's got to give some of these other guitarists a shot at being the best guitarist ever. It's like, well, they're not.
They don't play
good.
like him.
Yeah.
Right. It's like they don't like Peyton Royce is not Charlotte. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Right.
But the argument, and to be honest, it's like
she has a really high ceiling. Like, she could grow into an outstanding, you know, performer because she already is. But like, I mean, Charlotte's just Charlotte. Like, you can't set your like sort of like your measuring stick can't be an anomaly because you're just always going to come up short.
Yeah, I mean, like she's got a lot of tools, Peyton Royce, you know?
Yeah.
So I believe that she could do big things. And I think this promo is a good step in the right direction. I think she might need something else to the gimmick or something else to make her like, what is her the man? You know? What is her the man thing? You know? And it's hard to find. It takes work. And it takes airtime. It's not just it takes time behind the scenes. You need to be on air. Like, that's why I just don't want I point out, like, Daniel Bryan gets to kind of like just sit on that mic on network television. I'm not saying it's not again, he's one of my guys. I'm not saying it's unearned or anything, you know? It's just like, how is Peyton Royce going to shine when she does a 4-line promo and then she can only talk shit on Raw Talk? And this is the cycle. It happens. If you remember, Naomi had a moment like this also. It repeats where someone says something semi-shoot on like social media that kind of catches on, and then they get thrown into the same writing. So then they kind of look not like dumb for it, but it fizzles, and then it's like it didn't mean anything, you know?
Right. So
you have to do something that's not just a shoot promo. You also have to do something where like you change the like you get WWE, you get like Vince to say, all right, we're gonna run with this thing you're doing that you thought of, you know? Like that's what if I was a WWE wrestler, you know, I would be on social media like every minute trying to develop something. But then you see a guy like Bugenhagen and you're like, what's going on with him? I mean, what's going on there? Right?
Yeah, like I need a HBO documentary about what happened to Eric Bugenhagen.
I know.
Like he got so over instantly and then vanished.
I mean, he was so over. Like they didn't even run his like R-Truth is gimmick into the ground even, right?
Right.
Like he just disappeared. I don't know. I would would watch that. I mean, that would be a less depressing thing than what I'm watching on HBO currently, which is this Woody Allen doc.
I don't even care. I've never cared about Woody Allen.
Whoa. But anyway, I am a Peyton Royce mark. I hope she's really good on the mic. I believe that she could be a big star. She needs to do something that is undeniable. Like she needs to grab that, not brass ring. I hate the term, but like she needs to do something where you're like, it just feels undeniable, you know, where you're like, that's it. It's tough because she doesn't seem that menacing, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's fucking competitive, man. Speaking of menacing, Almighty Era is here. Calling it the Almighty Era by Bobby Lashley is very dope.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, don't you wish he was believably menacing with the acting? Like he looks so scary. His new entrance was sick. The lightning. Yeah. It looked awesome, and then he kind of stood there awkwardly for like a long time. But I was like, this is awesome. But then like whenever he has to like go into camera and scare you, he's just like not. He's not scary. He seems like a nice guy. Like he has this nice guy face, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he might be a natural face. He might not be suited for heel type of stuff, and he just gets slotted in that direction because he's, you know, physically imposing, right? And they never even conceived that he could be a face.
He might need the gimp mask.
It would work. I think it would work.
But
can he grow hair?
No,
at all.
I think from the steroids it fucked up his hair growth
at all. Because a beard might help, but I don't think
he has no eyebrows. Even he draws them on.
Right.
But that's not even. It's just like I guess maybe because he can't express with his eyebrows to be like, I'm angry. Really?
Oh, that's actually I never thought of that.
But he also doesn't. He can't do it believably. He can't like look believably like angry. But anyway, you know. What can you say? Like he looks awesome. He's just not a captivating dude. Like it's just the thing with him. Like Miz came out and did the opening promo, like essentially, and his was taped because it's like Miz is gonna come out and Miz killed it on the microphone. You know?
Yeah. Well, he's another level. I mean, he's improv.
I loved
guy.
it when he said
he's an
that.
improv guy.
Is it shady? Sure, it's shady. Yeah, of course it's shady.
He's talking about how he got a count out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's like, it's champion's advantage. Is it shady? Yeah, sure it's shady.
I mean, I think, look at this. Look at like the two wrestlers who I know for sure have improv experience. The Miz and Sami Zayn. And the minute that Sami Zayn took improv classes, everything changed. Everything changed. And it's just more evidence that like WWE needs to hire you to teach these people how to improvise, how to find a character, how to stick to a game or a gimmick and tell the truth. And because everybody that does it, the two people that I know for sure have done it are now heads and shoulders above everybody else.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Miz has just been on, Miz, I was watching old clips of Miz, like the Miz, like from like MTV. It doesn't even look real. It's like so old, the footage.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's so weird. And like the people on it don't even look like hot enough to be on the real world. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because of like the standards now of like beauty standards and lighting and everything now is like insane. You know?
Yeah. Well, everybody has to be like Zac Efron.
Yeah. Like everyone looks more like 90s hot or whatever. It's like kind of weird.
Yeah. I was watching, was it Road Rules or Real World that he was on?
Real World.
I was watching Real World, like new episodes, like on MTV or whatever when I was a kid. And I remember him being like, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. I want to be a pro wrestler. I'm going to be called The Miz. And so it's just so fucking surreal to like remember that and then see him where he is now. It's mind blowing.
But if you watch on the show, he would be like, I'm The Miz, like throw anything at me. Like he was really training like to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I just don't know. Like the thing with Bobby Lashley, it's like I mean, if he looks awesome with the title and everything, but like, I have a hard time believing any of you are like, I'm excited to see him defend it at Mania. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I
think with the proper build, anything.
But there's not that much time
at all.
And who's he wrestling? I guess if Brock comes back at Fastlane and picks up Bobby, then I'm into it.
Right.
But Brock is the only match really for me.
Yeah.
I guess you could maybe sell me on a Brock match or just a beef brawl. Like if you're like, you know what I mean? Like just throw like Strowman in and
a beef barn brawl.
Yeah, just throw me in the beef brawl. Then I'll be fully into it. But I don't think Lashley's gonna ever sell you on like a feud that like feels grudgy. It's just gonna be like the match. So anyway, listen, I like the story. I think his time is due. But I wonder where are we going with Seth and AJ? Is what I keep saying. We have Aleister Black, who just fizzled into nothing.
What a shame. What a fucking shame.
I mean, that's insane. And we don't even see the tag champs. I guess it's the Hurt Business. We don't see Ziggler and Rude that much on SmackDown. I don't know. It feels really weird. The Orton Bray I'm into, but I'm ready to see Bray again. Yeah. You know? Orton bleeding out is really, it's fun. Like he's wrestling AJ and then the Black. I like it. I mean, because it's big and cool and theatery. I dig it. I like the projections when they wrestled at WrestleMania 33. So I'm into it. But I'm ready to see Fiend. Like it's kind of a waste of Fiend. We got him in the Thunderdome. Like we can edit, we could do anything, you know?
Right.
And we have Alexa, she keeps being in all these packages through the screen. It's like Alexa's already done her job. It's time for a Fiend. So I hope they don't wait till Fastlane because I was ready to see him at the Chamber. So anyway, whatever. We went over. That's the broad strokes of stuff this week. Very interesting week. I mean, like SmackDown was a good show. Oh, and like Bianca, Sasha was beating up. Sasha looked awesome. Obviously, I could use Sasha and I was gonna say Malia. I could use Sasha and Bianca to have some heat, like some beef. I'm looking for that. It was a fun week of stuff, but a holdover week in a lot of ways. There's some cool stuff brewing. Sami Zayn did some cool shit I dug. But ultimately, like, and Sheamus and Drew had a beat the shit out of each other. The finish was kind of odd, but I did dig that. Those guys are destroying each other on like random Raws, which is a good time. Yeah. But I don't know where we're headed. I found this was an odd week for storytelling going into. We didn't think about what we didn't see. We didn't see Bad Bunny, which I think is going to be the Miz story, right? So we didn't see that. Bobby is kind of aimless. He did just a rematch with Miz. It was a holdover week in that way. We didn't see Bray show up yet. Shane and Braun iced their feud as opposed to advancing it. The only two that are actually putting hands on each other, or at least speaking to each other. We have Daniel Bryan certifying for a match he won't have at WrestleMania that we know is a holdover feud on the way to Fastlane. No Edge. And Asuka is hurt, I think, right? So Asuka's gonna be out. So yeah. I mean,
when is Fastlane?
March 21st. It is in
11 days.
We got only one more. Next Raw is to go home. And then Mania is 2 weeks after that. Well, I don't know. Such Fastlane is in the fucking way, man. Yeah. Yo, this is where we're at right now, right? Next week is the go home Raw and SmackDown for Fastlane, and then you'll have. Oh, wait, hold on. 1, 2. No, you have 3 Raws after that. No, there'll be 3 Raws and 3 SmackDowns between Fastlane, and that's still not that much. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Coming at you, everybody, in a weird week, but I already said that. Oh, actually, one last thing, Jabroniacs. We got a special guest here at the end of the podcast who's doing something pretty cool. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Pablo Persona. What's up, man?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yo, so you have a project. Tell us about your project. You have I watched the trailer for your movie.
Yeah.
And tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty wacky concept. Myself and a gentleman by the name of Mikey Gordon, who wrestles under the alias of Dirty Ron.
Yeah.
Came up with this concept, kind of inspired by the Blue Demon and Santo films, and we were kind of trying to bring that back into wrestling. And we got a crazy movie called A Pro Wrestling Movie, The Legend of Dirty Ron.
Yeah, The Legend of I didn't know if it was Pro Wrestling Movie or The Legend of Dirty Ron. So yeah, it's Pro Wrestling Movie, The Legend of Dirty Ron. I saw the trailer. RVD's in the movie, correct?
RVD,
who's one of a kind, would you say?
100% one of a kind. Everybody that's in it is one of a kind. Actually, Effie is in it. We have cameos from Victoria. We have Slice Boogie, the Ringworms. And a bunch of surprise cameos that I'm not going to spoil right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it. But like here on the pod, like I wrote a wrestling short movie that I wasn't able to shoot because of COVID. That was my plan for this year. And so I want to support all like pro wrestling film, And so how far are you along in shooting this? It's not done yet, right?
No, so it's not done. We have about 50% of a film. And hence why we're doing the rounds right now is we're trying to rally wrestling fans to get behind this weird concept and hopefully finish getting this thing funded in order for us to finish the film. So we have 50% of a movie right now, which is what you see in the trailer. There's, a lot more, obviously, that's not in the trailer.
Is it full length, the movie?
Yeah, it's going to be 80 plus minutes.
Awesome.
And we also like in the kind of like era of how wrestling fans like consume stuff versus just throwing it out there on a streaming platform. We have like ideas of, hopefully cases go down and the summer weather comes in and we can actually screen this thing in theaters. We kind of want to tour it and create an event around it to where maybe at one event we'd have like a Q&A with Rob Van Dam. We'd have Effie there. We'd have props and costumes from the film, like photo ops, Instagrammable moments, if you will. and then kind of like almost a Rocky Horror Picture Show type experience where we want the fans to participate in the film.
That sounds awesome.
While it screens.
That's a good idea. That's worth waiting for. It's worth waiting to be able to do it like that. So how can people like support the film and tell us just give us a little bit of a recap on like what happened?
Yeah.
You can't tell us in the film.
Yeah, so basically the movie's about Ron, who is the son of the world's most famous fast food mascot, whose name we can't really say for legal reasons, but it rhymes with Schmonald McShonald.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like the black sheep, the screw up of the family, so much so that he kind of gets put to work in like the lowest tier of the family business. And when he does so, when he's working there, he's shenanigans ensue. And he ends up beating up his boss or his manager, and he gets discovered by a former world champion down on his luck, as we say, which is the Moo Moo Mauler, who's played by Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
And Rob Van Dam's like, hey, you have what it takes. Let me train you. And then through a series of events before his training can officially begin, he ends up getting a title shot at the World Heavyweight Champion, Rainbow Star, that is played by the one and only Effie, who just like is just brilliant in everything that he does.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Effie ends up giving him a shot at the world title, and it's kind of a little bit of a redemption story. It's got a little bit of like father-son dynamic in there. It's kind of, I'll be like kind of transparent. It's kind of a knockoff of like Rocky and Creed, but set right in the world of pro wrestling. Obviously elements of like Half-Baked, Cheech and Chong, elements of little Happy Gilmore kind of thing in there. Drew inspiration from a lot of different things. And then obviously, like I said, it's inspired by like Blue Demon and Santo films. And we want to basically make more of these things. These are like, we keep saying this is our tongue-in-cheek love letter to pro wrestling. And we also say that we want to be like what National Lampoon's is to like, comedic films to like wrestling fans, basically. We want to be, so in theory, if this goes off well, right, we'd have a pro wrestling movie and insert, different character, different title here. This is a pro wrestling movie, The Legend of Dirty Ron. And then hopefully, fans will enjoy it, get to see wrestlers in a different light or consume wrestling content in a slightly different way. And we can get a lot of these things made, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have some. Newman, I mean,
I was gonna say, before you plug the Indiegogo. One of the things that I thought was really cool was like, I understand that it was sort of like a way to have wrestlers sort of earn a living outside of like the wrestling ring, and like because they're actors and performers, right? And so they should be in movies, they should be performing. And was that sort of like was that baked into the concept the whole time? Like, let's have an avenue for these wrestlers to kind of do this? Yeah,
I mean, definitely, dude. I feel like wrestlers are so talented. Like, these dudes have like a huge hidden talent. Like for me, RVD, for example, right? We're used to seeing him as RVD as we've seen him for the past 20 years on television. But I mean, he's a funny guy. Like, even just having like, he's got a very like dry sense of humor. And even just having like discussions with him, he throws in like little just bits and jokes. And I'm just like, he's just a real funny dude. And we want to give wrestlers a different medium to showcase their talents. It really, actually, it's funny. I had a conversation with Effie of all people at a WrestleCon one year, because we saw Honky Tonk Man, and he's like all white and looking super grizzled. And we were talking about like how badass it would be to have like Honky Tonk Man in like a Western style kind of like film where he's like this disgruntled badass, and Honky Tonk Man can pull it off, right? The dude's a performer, and he's a really good performer. And yeah, so
former like, IC champ. I mean, obviously.
But like, right? He's doing like the the syndicate of cons and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
and
right.
And it's like, why isn't Honky Tonk Man? Why hasn't somebody cast him in a film like this, right? Like, the dude is talented.
We always talk about that on the pod here, because it's like, I don't even understand how like a guy like Bray Wyatt is not a big deal in Hollywood. Like, he's a better actor than most actors who, especially in his type, you know. So I can't think of a dude who looks like that who can act like that, you know. So I'm totally in step with you. We have a thing here, the Cow Movie Club, like on for our patrons, like where we watch movies with pro wrestlers in them, and I watch like all the movies with wrestlers in a lot of the WWE studio shit, like all that stuff, and these guys get the worst fucking roles. They just put them in like knockoffs of Jack Reacher. That's all they do. So as opposed to playing to their actual skills, you know, like someone like an Effie who's a great talent. Matter of fact, we gotta get Effie on the pod.
Oh man,
tell
so
Effie
great.
to come out here and promote. We would love to talk to Effie.
Yeah. Oh man, he's like I said, he's amazing. We didn't audition anybody for this film.
Right.
Like we literally wrote the role for Effie, and we're like, well, if we get turned down, right, that would suck. But
right.
Lucky for us, like everybody who we wrote the roles for, like loved the script enough to agree to it. But yeah, man, I mean, I agree. Like, right, the biggest movie star in the world right now is a former pro wrestler. Right. And you know, John Cena looks like he's going to hopefully have some success in Hollywood as well. Yeah. Like, wrestlers are really talented people. And then also like kind of something hopefully that we can build a brand outside of the machine. I mean, WWE has their studio, right? But they're going to obviously stick on brand with kind of like what matches whatever they're trying to project to their audience. But to us, right, this is very much, I mean, if you see the trailer online, it's a red band trailer. We don't pull any punches. It's very much like, adult humor. It's a stoner comedy, you know? So, and then, you know.
Yeah. So Pablo, let everybody know how they can support your film and get it done. And you guys can see RVD in a one-of-a-kind performance.
Dude,
I can't help myself.
It's our we have an Indiegogo. It's at A Pro Wrestling Movie. You can find us on all social media at A Pro Wrestling Movie, except for Twitter. It's Pro Wrestling Movie because for some reason A Pro Wrestling Movie is too many like letters or whatever. Yeah. But I think the easiest link is igg.me/A Pro Wrestling Movie. Like I said, if you find our website, our social media, wherever we're at, there's definitely a link to our Indiegogo. And our like idea is like, hey, like if 5,000 wrestling fans can donate $10, the film's funded, right? I mean, we've all paid at least $10 to go see an indie show that,
right?
You know, I don't know if it's been worth or has been worth or not worth $10 or not, but like we're kind of bringing this thing to the fans. We wanted to we're like, hey, maybe we'll look for private investors,
right?
But we wanted to put it out there. We want to give it to the fans. Like I said, it's our love letter to wrestling, and it's obviously really goofy, but we really genuinely care about the business, and hopefully that'll show through the film.
Dude, that's awesome. The trailer looks great. Check out the Indiegogo, and then Pablo, we'll check back in with you, see how it's going with the pod and with the movie and the fundraising and everything, and good luck with it all, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on and letting me come talk shit about this film.
Thanks, Pablo. Well, you're gonna stick around while I do a little quick outro of the show. Let everybody know. Thank you for listening to the podcast today, everybody. That is it. Support us on patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. Get access to our Friday bonus episodes where we talk about AEW, NXT, and anything we didn't get to on the main episode. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because unfortunately cOwmania is on. That's where you'll be able to get a lot of updates on the goings on. And I guess this King of Iron Fist tournament, Hawaii, I guess that's how Sheb says it now. You can see what's going on there, and follow us on all social medias at COW Podcast. And hey, everybody, keep watching wrestling. Kisses. Cheers up.